The writing assignment. 6 easy steps to write a great research paper. What do exercising, taking out the trash, and going to the dentist all have in common? No one really wants to do them. But once the tasks are done, we all feel better. Stronger bodies, cleaner spaces, fresher breath. The bonus is, if you go into them with a positive attitude, it makes the process easier to endure. Writing a research paper is no different. Beginning feels daunting, but after following a few steps to organize your writing and putting your best foot forward, in the end, the reward is a great paper to be proud of. The key is to start out believing you'll feel this way and allow that belief to lead you to a topic you like that you can develop into an awesome piece of work. There are lots of examples and templates in this course that will take you from idea to research to writing your drafts. And remember, you can always seek help from your librarian and the Writing Center. Writing is a journey, and here are 6 easy steps to guide you. Let's go! Step 1. Understand the assignment and set your own due dates. Have you ever tried planning a party for someone insufferable? Or just picky? Listen, you're cool with this person, you just know how they are. They know what they want and how they want it for any given situation. So you have to keep that in mind when organizing anything for them. You have to understand what works. Let's say this friend's name is your professor. Up front, your friend reminds you of your favorite color, type of music, the other friends they do and don't want at the party. In other words, they give you all of their preferences so you can plan accordingly. For your paper, these preferences are the set of guidelines provided to complete your assignment. And because you know your professor is picky, you should probably adhere to them. Usually, you'll get a grading rubric that will tell you even more specifically what needs to be in your paper to get the highest grade possible. Make sure you refer to the rubric along the way, and especially before you turn your paper in. If you still have questions after reading your assignment guidelines, ask. Your professor is the best place to start, but other classmates, your librarian, and the Writing Center can all be great resources to help you get on track. Here are a few things you definitely need to know. How long does the paper have to be? Is there a specific word count, or do you need to write a certain number of pages? What citation method is preferred or required by your professor? APA is pretty common for research papers, but sometimes Chicago or MLA writing styles are also accepted. It's important to know which you can use so your formatting is correct. How many and what types of sources do you need? Websites, books, articles? Always use more than one source, because you want to be able to compare different data to develop your opinion. Is an outline or draft due before the final due date? Check to see if any of the parts of the paper have different due dates or whether it's all due in full on one specific date. Knowing this will help you with your writing schedule. We'll get to that in a second. What other formatting details do you need to know? Like, do you need a title page or should all of your identifying information go on page 1? How long does the paper have to be? This is particularly important if you're required to meet a certain page count. 5 single-spaced pages equals 10 double-spaced. So yeah, importante. How long will it take to complete each task listed above? That last question is a big one that can make or break your plan. It's like when you hop in your car, plug an address into your GPS, and click step-by-step directions. You'll see that each part of your trip takes a certain amount of time. Your assignment has parts too, and your destination is the due date of your finished paper. Guesstimating how long each part of your paper will take to read, organize, or write will direct your writing schedule. I repeat, writing schedule. Most people skip this step and wonder why they run out of time and end up cramming at the deadline. There's a trick to it that'll save you many nights of, why did I do this to myself? Know where you're going before you start. Here goes. Let's map this out. Put a big star by your due date and write 2 important words. Due date. And then, it's probably a good idea to write what's due. In this case, your research paper. Bonus. You can give yourself a due date before the paper is actually due. Now, count back to today and jot a note down to yourself of how many days you have in between today and the due date. If you discover that certain parts are due before the final due date, like a draft, put little stars, or whatever shape, on those dates and write what it is that's due. It'll take time to really perfect how long it takes you to do the different parts of a paper, and your schedule will also depend on how much time you have in the first place, along with what other obligations you have in life. But, yes for now. Are you a slow reader? Give yourself more time for research. Do you read fast but write slowly? Give yourself more time to write and rewrite. Is formatting the bane of your existence? Then you're a college student. You get the picture. The point is, divide the amount of days you have into workable, productive sessions and map them out on your calendar. You know what the absolute most important thing to remember about your schedule is? You have to follow it for it to work. Understand your assignment. Make a schedule, follow it. Pull out your calendar, and give it a shot. Pause and complete step 1. Understand the assignment and set your own due dates. Step 2. Choose what you'll write about. What are you going to talk about? You're in the car on the way to check out the venue. You know where you're going, the GPS is set to a specific address, but at this point, that address is just a location. In time. Your duty. In other words, you know where the party will be, but what's the dress code? Who's the DJ? And what food and drinks will be served? More than likely, you'll come up with a theme that ties all these ideas together. For your research paper, the theme, and all that goes into creating it, is your topic. You get to make the paper interesting, and that starts with figuring out what you want to write about. Of course, whatever you choose has got to meet the guidelines of the assignment, but beyond that, the next best thing is to choose something you actually find interesting to research. Not only will that probably translate into being interesting to your reader, but it will also make the process of writing more fulfilling to you. That means, don't stop at the first subject you come across. Give yourself time in your schedule to search for something you like. Warning, do not go wide. This is not a football game. The narrower you can target your research, the more you'll love yourself. No, really, you will actually love and appreciate yourself more if you focus. The best way to do that is to first find what you're interested in discussing, and then ask a specific question that you'll write your entire paper to answer. Even better, your question will help form a thesis statement, which is your opinion on what the answer to that question is. Your entire paper can be written to support one good focused question and your thesis, so make it good. How, you ask? See, you're already asking good questions. Let's say you're interested in the lives of people on public assistance. That's the topic. Do you think asking, what is life like as a person on public assistance, is a good focused question? What would your thesis be if so? How many factors would go into answering this question? Are we talking about low-income housing, food stamps, or what's called SNAP benefits? Healthcare? I bet if you thought it was a great question at first, you may be thinking twice now, at least with respect to writing a solid paper. Imagine the amount of research that will go into covering these topics. And again, what opinion would you offer? They say there are no bad questions, but some are definitely better than others. Let's try a better one. What if your topic is food assistance for families in need? Can you think of a narrower question to match that topic? I've got one. Are income limits reasonable for Georgia residents in need of food assistance? You're now focused on one benefit in one state and how income limits affect that. It's a little easier to form an opinion from that question, right? Research may change your initial opinion, so you don't have to form a thesis right away. It can be discovered with a bit of fact-finding. But let's say you've collected some data and you're ready to form a thesis. It can look something like this. Some families struggle to have enough money to pay other household bills and also make little enough to qualify for SNAP benefits. Topic, question, research, thesis. Narrow your focus. Pause and complete step 2. Choose what you will write about. Step 3. Research. Research. Oh, research. So, you've organized a solid party plan and chosen a venue. You've decided on the dress code, food and favors, and most importantly, the DJ. In case you're not following me, for now, these represent your topic, your question, and your thesis statement. Now, you want to explain to your friend why all these choices fit together logically, so show them. Even as particular as they are, they don't want to know how you found your choices, your schedule. But they'd love to hear why you feel the way you do about your choices. Show them that clean outfit that set the vibe for the dress code. Tie that into the appropriate food and favors. For example, barbecue is delicious, but not for an all-white party. Make it fit. And the music. Sure, your cousin who spends in his basement with aspirations to be America's Next Top DJ is free and easy, but for the sake of your party, go with someone who plays music to fit the theme well. Now, that's your research. It supports everything you write in your paper. These days, there are so many places to find information. Don't limit yourself to one type of media. Of course, you have the internet, but you can interview people, search journal articles, and depending on your topic, you may find videos and even documentary films to help you create a well-researched piece of work that supports your question and your thesis. It keeps your reader engaged. As you research, you may even find a more interesting question. So, as long as you update your thesis statement, you will stay on course. Again, you will learn how long it takes you to complete the various parts of your paper as you practice, but for now, as a rule of thumb, give yourself about 2 hours in your schedule each time you plan to research your topic. Organization is the key to finding supporting data when it's time to use it in your paper. In other words, imagine if your sugar and salt containers were identical, and the only way to know which is to taste them on whatever you're eating. That's just as unpleasant as opening your whole documents folder and sifting through a bunch of files named Research 7. Here's another tip. Each new course you take should have its own folder on your computer or cloud drive. Within that, make a research folder to organize information. Give the documents you save into the research folder detailed file names. There is literally nothing fun about citations, other than not getting sued or getting an automatic F in your class for plagiarism, but if you create the document along the way, it will be done when you're done researching. Rather than being that last naggy thing to do after you've given your all to your paper and you just want to sleep. Don't fall victim to the trap that leads to sloppy formatting or missing citations, also known as accidental plagiarism, which is still punishable. It's almost time to write. Pause and complete step 3. Research. Step 4. Develop an organized outline. You know those rumble strips on the highway that loudly let you know you've drifted out of the lane designated for driving and instead have inched your way onto the shoulder? In between, there are either yellow or white stripes that form lanes. Together, these markers let drivers know where to and where not to drive. A well-constructed outline serves the same purpose. It keeps your writing on track, and it will let you know if you start veering off topic. It's also an easy way to write a paper quickly. Since you've taken good notes, paraphrased often, and labeled your files with descriptive file names, developing an organized outline is just a matter of ordering your research logically. Start by going into your research folder and grouping items that seem to fit together. Decide which information actually helps prove your thesis and answer your question, then let go of everything that now seems off topic. What's left, you'll arrange into related sections. In your document, you can use Roman numerals, letters, fancy bullet points, whatever works for you. Look at your introduction and conclusion as rumble strips, the outer bounds of your paper. You don't want your introduction to include a bunch of information that's unnecessary to make your point, and you don't want your conclusion to go beyond proving your point. Your outline will help you see what research falls within this range. The range of ideas that you want to highlight between your introduction and conclusion are the highway lanes, or the headings and subjects of paragraphs you'll write, and each subject will have supporting details. You might rearrange the order as you get to know your material better. I'm almost positive you will, and that's okay. But the more time you put into this part of the process, the more you'll trust yourself while writing. Here's one way to format an outline. Start with your introduction, an attention grabber that introduces what you're writing about. Follow that up with an interesting fact, a research question, and a thesis statement. Then, develop the body of your work. Each paragraph you write will have a subtopic to discuss, and will always be the first sentence of that paragraph. The sentences that follow contain your supporting details. In your conclusion, restate your question, restate the most important supporting details you wrote about, and firmly restate your thesis. With a good outline, your paper will nearly write itself. Put the time in up front. Pause and complete step 4. Develop an organized outline. Step 5. Write a quick rough draft, then polish it. Alright, you're organized and well researched. Your friendly schedule will give you time to write more than one draft before locking in your final paper. This first draft is a matter of converting your outline into sentences and paragraphs. That's it. Don't think too hard, because you've already done that when you constructed the outline. Your writer's voice will develop over time, but the purpose of this draft is to get everything on paper in one document. Just move down your bullet points and make cohesive sentences. Each paragraph will be similar in length, but that isn't an exact science, so don't grip too tightly to that general guideline. Citations. Remember your gift to self? Time to open that document and plug them into this draft, even in rough form. You'll polish the formatting when you have a solid second or even third draft, but you don't want to start from scratch with citations when you're done with your paper, any more than you want to start with your works cited page at the end.